Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review of The Last of Us, Episode 8, When We Are in Need. This review is a little bit late, so I may go into a little bit of spoilers, not too much, no, without a warning. So in this episode, Ellie crosses paths with a vengeful group of survivors and draws out the attention of its leader. A weakened Joel also faces a new threat. So we pick up from where we left off. In the preview, in episode 6, actually. Episode 7 was a little bit of a flashback to Ellie in her past. So in episode 8, we see the consequences of Joel's injury and what Ellie kind of now has to do to try to keep him alive, as she runs into this group of strangers. This episode stars Pedro Pascal as Joe Miller and Bella Ramsey as Ellie Williams, directed by Ali Abbasi and written by Neil Druckmann and Craig Mason. Um, Man, this was a very really powerful episode because really focusing on Ellie's strengths. I think Bella Ramsey plays the character wonderfully, and I just really enjoyed the introduction of these new characters. That, as somebody who hasn't played the game, you know I knew there were going to be, like, I knew there was something off immediately. I think Scott Shepard, who plays David, um, his introduction was so well done as this character who, there's darkness to him, but he's the leader of these people that, when compared to the people that we met earlier with Tommy's group, they're not so well off. They are kind of stuck in this resort, and they're running out of resources because the winter's been a lot more harsh than they believe. So they're out there scavenging, and you could only imagine some of the things they have to do to survive. So this is really interesting. Also, we have Joel, who's been recovering, and Ellie has to leave him to kind of fend for himself as he's recovering. She tries to save him from these people. There's a really cool stunt with a horse, which, when you look at the after the show, they show you kind of how it was done, and it's incredible. Just the way it looks. I love seeing stuff like that because it looked really violent in the show, during the show. So it's really interesting to go back and check out how some of those things are done, and how these stunt people are just so amazing at what they do. Being able to hopefully land a stunt like this without anybody being injured. So yeah, really well done, and of course also without hurting any animals, which it's really interesting to see. The stunt, not the stunt, but like the prop that they use, like the prop horse that they use here, and how that becomes what we see on the screen. Really cool. And yeah, this episode did not. It took me completely by surprise. Like, all the things that there were, all the reveals, like everything that really happened with David and his group. Um, I guess my one critique of it is that they introduce a lot of people from David's group, but then kind of later on were nowhere to be seen. So it's because it feels like the resort would have been small enough for them to maybe catch wind that something was off. I don't know. That's really my only critique about this episode. That part didn't fully tie in. But yeah, so let's get a little bit into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the episode, which you should, because this review is very late, you go check it out. Yeah, I mean, they were cannibals, and they had to resort to that to survive, and the group to survive, which is like, we've seen that in many post-apocalyptic shows. I think there's always one group that has to resort to that type of stuff. But David, as Shepard did such a good job as portraying David, just really menacing character that can flip, and he had this kind of infatuation on Ellie, which is just very. It was so creepily done, but it was really just a really brilliant performance. I think, to really, like, make you not only like this guy, you hate him right away when you find out his intentions, but then it just get worse and worse. This is probably one of the most violent episodes we've seen, especially because a lot of the violence comes from Ellie in that sequence at the end, which I saw some clips of the actual gameplay during that. So it's really interesting how all that stuff was adapted for big fans of the games, which I completely missed because I know of Troy Baker, but I don't immediately recognize him. He portrayed James, who's one of David's group, so we get a little cameo there. which is really interesting. It's really fun to see some of the characters that, like Troy Baker, who voiced Joel in the original game, come back to the show. So overall, great episode. I'm super pumped for the finale, and I can't wait to see. So hopefully, we'll be able to get a review out for that as well on a timely manner. But thank you guys. This has been an excellent show to watch and then talk about here on the channel for you guys. So let me know what you thought about this episode. Enjoy the finale, and we'll talk about it in a later episode. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.